Hi, I'm Pete Schellenbach, culinary specialist with Vulcan, coming to you today from the Vulcan Test Kitchen to talk to you about the Versatile Chef Station, or VCS. I'm standing in front of the Versatile Chef Station, or the VCS. The VCS is a piece of equipment that in a very, very small footprint can do a wide variety of cooking techniques. It can sear, it can boil, it can simmer, it can poach, it can pan fry, it can shallow fry, and I can do things like sous vide or retherm in this piece of equipment. The fact that it is so small means that I'm saving on hood space. And with hood space, hood space can be $3,000 to $5,000 a linear foot now. So the smaller I can keep my hood, the smaller my build out costs. If I took the VCS and added a charbroiler or maybe our mini jet combi and a refrigerated base, I could get pretty much an entire kitchen into an extraordinarily small footprint under a very, very small hood. So one of the features of the VCS, as far as the design of your kitchen goes, is that it is a range match piece. And what we mean by range match is that its size and angles match our range line, so that when you're building a cook line, the VCS can drop right into the range line and not look out of place at all. It really completes that Vulcan kitchen look. The other thing about it is that even though this piece is all electric, we have the foresight to allow you to manifold a gas line directly through the VCS so that it doesn't matter where it is on your cook line. You can put it in even if you have a gas piece on the right and the left. You can bring your gas line right through the VCS. I think that's absolutely brilliant engineering. So the VCS employs our patented rapid recovery plate. I've got a piece of a rapid recovery plate here, but I want to tell you that the one that's in the VCS is a much smaller piece. But what you can see here is that there is a layer of steel, a layer of aluminum, and then another layer of steel. By sandwiching the aluminum between the two pieces of steel, I have a very durable product, but the aluminum, that big piece of aluminum in the middle, is fantastic for spreading the heat out. So it absorbs heat quickly, it spreads that heat out evenly, but I've got steel on top and bottom for durability. The other fantastic feature of the rapid recovery plate in the VCS is that the VCS uses printed heating elements like the one I'm holding here. This heating element, there are 6 of them in the base of the VCS, heats in a very specific way, and it has its own thermocouple. What that means is that the VCS is aware when you put food down on the plate, it knows where that food is and then only energizes the heating element that's under that food. That eliminates cold spots. Because it can sense when food is on it, it turns this one on and brings the temperature profile of the plate back to even across the entire surface. Because there are 6 of these and each one has its own thermocouple, there are 6 points where it can measure temperature. But we add a 7th in a small thermocouple on the side of the tank. What that lets you do is monitor the temperature of the actual food product that's in the VCS. So right now you see the VCS that with its covers in place. These covers are ergonomically designed that I can either grab them by hand here at this cutout, or if they're already hot because I'm using the VCS, say, as a rethermalizer or sous vide, these plates would be the temperature of the water that's underneath them. So if I don't want to touch these plates when they're warm, I have this handy little lifting mechanism that lets me lift up the plate and take it off without touching it. So I'm going to add a little bit of water to my VCS. It's an easy process for me because just by pushing a button, I can add water to the tank of the VCS. If I push the button once quickly, it'll turn the water on and it'll continue to flow, much like I'm flipping a light switch on. It just turns it on. But if I press and hold the button, I am now in manual mode and I can control how much water comes into the tank very, very precisely. So you've already seen me add water to the VCS by using the water button. Here are the rest of the controls. My mode control has griddle, boil, and fry, and the VCS automatically sets the appropriate temperature for those settings. If I want to control that more precisely, I can use this knob to exactly set the temperature that I want. The digital control lets me know exactly where I am, so there's no guesswork as far as a knob like that. There's one really important safety feature that the VCS has. When the machine is set to fry, it locks out the water fill mode. So if I have oil in here being used as a fryer, if I were to add water to that, it would be incredibly dangerous. The VCS will not let you do that. When the VCS is set in fry mode, it turns off the water fill. Just wanted to let you know that the VCS is trying to keep you safe on your line. So today I'm going to be cooking a couple of things in the VCS. I'm going to start out with some shrimp fajitas. Then I'm going to clean the VCS out, show you how easy it is to clean, and then I'm going to cook something called Natillas de leche, which is like a milk custard that's flavored with lemon and cinnamon. Okay, but I'm going to start with shrimp fajitas. I've already got my VCS preheated to 350 degrees. I'm going to add some oil to my pan. I'm going to start to saute my fajita vegetables. As I mentioned before, because of those 6 printed heating elements, the VCS has incredibly fast recovery. So even though I just completely covered the surface of the pan with cold vegetables, the temperature is going to pop right back up to 350 degrees, which was my set point. I'm going to saute those until they get a little bit of color on them, start to wilt out a little bit, and then I'm going to push those to the back and saute my shrimp in the same pan. So because of that great recovery time, one of the things that's going to be true about the VCS is that we'll end up saving labor throughout the day. Because the VCS recovers temperature so quickly, I finish my dishes faster. Because I'm finished faster, then that means I spend less labor dollars making those dishes. So now I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, and then I also have a blend of other seasonings that I'm going to add in and start to move those around in the pan as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push them back to the back of the pan to clear up some pan space in the front, where I'm going to add a little bit more oil and then add my shrimp. So a little bit more oil up front, just for the shrimp. Then I'm going to add shrimp. So again, one of the nice things about the way the VCS recovers is even though I just added cold shrimp to this pan, the pan has sensed where the shrimp is. And so now there is more energy going to the heating elements that are under the shrimp than under the vegetables. The VCS is constantly trying to make the temperature profile of the entire plate the same. So as the cold shrimp hit the front of the pan is going to have its heating elements turn on. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this mixture entirely back together to use the moisture that's going to cook off of the vegetables to help speed up and finish the shrimp cooking. And then I'm going to use a spatula to remove these to a pan. So I can lift this out. This. So today in the VCS, I used the griddle mode and I made shrimp fajitas, and I'm serving those with guacamole and pico de gallo. So as I mentioned, the VCS helps save labor by producing your food faster. But cleaning a product or cleaning a piece of equipment takes time as well. And the VCS, because of the way it's made, is very easy to clean. So while it's still hot right now, I'm gonna add some water to the pan. And I'm going to use the spatula to spread that water around and start to lift that soil right up off the bottom of the pan. So in just a second, and you can see as I scrape it, it's just coming clean, right? Just from a little bit of water. If I needed to add a little bit of detergent, I could use a mild detergent. But to clean this, all I'm gonna do is add a little water, use a stiff brush to clean up the bottom, and then give it a good wipe down. That's all it's gonna take. I can just use this brush, and you can see inside there, as I brush right over it, all that soil is loosening up off the bottom of the pan. And it's gonna be super easy to clean this out the rest of the way. Yeah, and as far as cleaning implements go, any kind of brush is gonna be just fine. Any kind of like garden variety squeegee is gonna help at the end when I pull the water and any remaining soil out. And the other nice thing is that this is gonna drain directly down into the drain caddy. Remember, the drain caddy is not for food, it is for wastewater. It is not for food. If I need to save the liquid that's in here, I remove the drain pipe and put a hotel pan under the drain and catch the food. But now I'm gonna be using the drain caddy, not food safe, to drain this water out. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the drain out. Then, like I said, if I need to add some more water and a mild detergent, I can certainly do that to get any last little bits off. But you can see how easy this is to clean and how easy it is for me to finish one dish and then get on to the next one. So the next item that I'm gonna make in the VCS is called Natillas de leche. And it's a custard that's, it's a milk-based custard that's seasoned with cinnamon and lemon. And the reason that the VCS is a perfect piece of equipment to make this is because of the evenness of the temperature across the entire pan, and that way I won't get any scorching of the custard as I make it. I'm gonna set it to boil mode, and I'm gonna go up to 175 degrees, and now I'm gonna start by adding milk. And a little vanilla in there as well. And one thing I want you to see right here on the side, if you'll notice, the milk is covering the temperature sensor for the pan. That temperature sensor won't work if there's not a sufficient volume of liquid in the pan. So whatever I'm doing, if I'm doing a boiled product like where I'm simmering something, simmering a sauce, and I want to use the boil mode uses this temperature sensor to sense the temperature of the product. If I don't have enough product to cover up to there, then I'm better using the griddle mode or the pan fry mode. I can still control the temperature very precisely, but I will be controlling the temperature of the pan, not the food. All right, so now I'm gonna do a couple more things. I'm gonna add some cornstarch to my mixture of egg yolk and sugar and whisk that together. And then I need to temper this mixture with some of that hot milk before I add it to the pan. I'm gonna put in some of the hot milk into the cooler egg mixture. And now that I have the thickener of the egg yolk and the thickener of the cornstarch, all I have to let this do is come up to a simmer again. And the last thing I'm gonna add to this to make sure I get the flavor of it in there is some lemon zest. And that's all I have to do right now for my Natillas de leche. So now the Natillas are thickened, it's got a great custard-like consistency. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my unit off. I've already removed the drain pipe that would drain this out to the floor. And in its place, I'm gonna slide in a hotel pan here under the drain, okay? So now, when I remove this drain, my Natillas are gonna drain down into the hotel pan to catch it. One of the nice features, as I said, of the very even heating of the VCS is if you'll look, as I scrape this forward, I have absolutely no sticking on the bottom of this pan. The reason I don't have any sticking is because the heat was kept perfectly even across the top. So I didn't have hot spots or cold spots. Where those hot spots or cold spots are next to each other, that's where you tend to get sticking. So the other dish I made today in the VCS is called Natillas de leche. It's a milk custard that is flavored with lemon zest and cinnamon.
Hello, I am Chris Cook, the Business Development Manager for Vulcan Ranges. The Vulcan VCS is the first and only range match multi-cooker of its kind in the U.S. The VCS is an adaptable piece of equipment that can braise, sear, boil, shallow fry, saute, steam, reheat, simmer, poach, griddle, and melt. Suited to independent, small footprint restaurants and specialty applications where chefs can truly demonstrate their skills in a personalized way. An optional drain caddy is available to contain runoff if no floor drain is available. You can find a full webpage dedicated to this product on our newly designed webpage, as well as cooking demo videos and brochures on our full line of Vulcan products. Check it all out.